flying high in a World War II airplane in Superior, and a spooky trolley tour up on the Iron Range. All that and more as we take you around the Northland city by city. We're going to start things off in Hayward, Wisconsin, where the downtown Hayward Business Improvement District is hosting its first Sip and Shop event tomorrow. That'll be from 4 to 7 p.m. You can find fall's new fashions, special menus, live music, treats, and one-night-only deals. To participate, pick up a Sip and Shop passport at any participating business and enter to win those prizes. Next, we head to Superior, where the Experimental Aircraft Association is bringing the B-25 Mitchell-Berlin Express to the Bong Memorial Airport. The B-25 bomber played a crucial war back in World War II. There are fewer than 20 of these types of planes that can still fly, and the EAA is offering rides to the public this Friday through Sunday. We have the link to buy those tickets on our website. And we're going to wrap things up on the Iron Range, where the Minnesota Discovery Center in Chisholm is offering a spooky time with its Trolley in the Dark tours. On Friday, October 13th, people can ride the historic trolley and get a tour of the Glen location after hours. People of all ages are welcome. You can head to our website to make that reservation. And if there is something going on in your neighborhood you think we should know about, you can always send us an email and let us know what's happening around the Northland, city by city.